Hello everybody. Today in this video what we're gonna do is we're gonna log into the Instagram, and once we are logged in, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to scrap the images, search the images and then scrap them all. Okay, for example, here I am logged in my account, and what we're gonna do is we will search for a hashtag. For example, let's say I want to search for Learnerea. Okay, so this is what I want to search for. So when I type this keyword and when I hit enter, these are the images which I get. Now I want to take them all and I just want to store them in a folder. That's what we're gonna do today. Okay, so let's just start and learn that. Before that, I'll just close this particular window, and before we start, it is important that you have the Chrome driver installed and set up. If you want to learn how to do that, here is the video. I will be providing you the link for this. You just need to watch it for approximately 2 or 3 minutes. For this particular part, I will give you the link for this particular part only, and you will be able to successfully install and set up the Chrome driver, and then possibly you can use Selenium. I just hope that you already have the Selenium installed. All right, without wasting the time, let's start with this particular project. Okay, so here we are, like we have certain dependencies, so let's just complete those dependencies quickly. And here these are all the required libraries which I already have installed. In case if you don't have it installed, just install them and then you can import them. I just imported them directly. Right now, once I'm done with importing them all that I require to log into the Instagram, first thing, my user, that is going to be this is my user ID, then my password. And to store the password, I'm going to use this particular module which is getPass, which you can see I have just imported over here, getpass.getpass. Why I'm doing this? Because once I do this, it will ask me to enter the password in encrypted mode. All right, so this is done. Now the next thing which I'm going to do is I'm just going to define a destination location where I actually want to store my images. Right, so let's just see where I would like to store my images. I will just take the location. I already have it over here, so what I'll do is I'll simply copy and paste it over here. Okay, this is the Instagram photos image location, and I might already be having some images over here. So what I'm going to do is I'll be deleting all these images what we already have over here, and you see these are already available over here, which I did scrap using the same technique which I'm going to explain. Now you see this folder is empty. After we are done with our project, we would see many images stored into it. Okay, now once we are, these are our requirement where we require ID, password and the location where we want to store the images. Now the next thing which we require is start the Chrome driver, so that I already have over here. And for the same segment, I suggested you to watch this particular video. Okay, now I will just run this. The moment I execute this, let me see if I already have a Chrome driver. Okay, so I already have a Chrome open. I'm just going to close that. Now when I just hit enter, this is going to open a new Chrome window, and in that I have already given the Instagram URL, so it will directly open the Instagram URL. So you see this is opening. Now once this is opened, what we're gonna do is we're gonna create multiple boxes. Right, we would have multiple boxes for username and password. So let's start first with username. Okay, and for username we're gonna say driver. So if you are wondering where does this driver comes from, so here is the driver which I'm defining. Okay, so driver dot find element. You just follow the video what I'm doing, you will be able to successfully achieve whatever you want. Okay, now over here I'm going to say by dot xpath, and over here I would say in xpath I need to provide the particular attribute or tags to access the username box. Let me show you. This is the username box which we are trying to access. Okay, so for that what I'm going to do is I'll just do inspect, and when I do inspect, it's gonna take few seconds, or maybe I can say minutes, and then once it is here I will just choose this option so that the coder window will come below. Now I need the tag for this particular box. So how can I get this? This is what I have been explaining in all my videos, right? So here is the code patch which is creating the box window. Okay, so let's just figure out how can we access this particular box window. You see, this is the tag, and in that we have this particular attribute, so we can use this particular attribute along with this tag, right? So this will help us to find that. It is input tag, input, and inside that I'm going to say @ and this. So I will just change this double quote with single quote. I'll tell you why this is important, right? So the moment I wrote this, it is finding the correct patch, and this is just one item. It is important that we have just one item. Okay, now I will put just this. You see here I already have double quotation, so that's why it is important that we have this particular item in single quote. Okay, now the moment I have it, after that what I need to do, so this is actually my user box, this box. In that I need to put my this email ID. How can I do that? So I will simply say username is the object which I have already created. Now in that I will say send keys, and inside that what I would do is I'll just say my user. Okay, so this will just simply enter my user ID into that. Once that is done, I would like to hit enter key, and then again I would say send keys, and send keys over here I would say keys dot enter. Now how do I use these keys? This key is not just text, this is a module which I already have imported over here, so it is important that you have done the similar thing. Okay, so the moment I execute this, you would see my user ID is written into this. The next job comes over here, this one. Okay, so for this thing what we need to do is, again we will try to find this particular box. How can we find that? Just hover on this, and here you see name password. So you see everything we're gonna have same, because this is also under input tag and the attribute is name. So here if I just change this to password, it's grabbing the same patch. Okay, so I'll just take this and I will come over here. I would say password equals to, let me just say password equals to driver dot find element, inside that py dot xpath, and here we go. Okay, so here we have the password inserted. Right now again I will say password dot send keys, and inside that, you remember here we created our object which is called my pwt. So the same thing I'm just going to put over here, and then I would say password and send keys. Here I will say keys dot enter. All right, so once we do so, it will take some time to process. So what will happen, we will enter the password over here, and once we enter the password we would require to click on this login button. So instead of clicking, we can simply hit enter. If you do so, this will work similar. Okay, this will do the same task, but when you click login, it takes some time to process that, right? So that's why I'm taking 3 seconds. Now when I enter this, when I execute this, let's see what happens over here. What is happening over here? So you see it is opening the Instagram. Now here we are. The next thing which we gotta do over here is we need to click on this not now button. So again we're gonna do this thing. We will click not now and just come back over here. Here we have button tag, inside that we have the text not. So here the tag is button, right? So I will say button, and inside that I'm going to put the square bracket, and where it is. Okay, so I would say text that was equals to not now, not now. All right, so when you see this, the moment I enter this kind of string, it is grabbing the same patch which is creating this particular button. So let's just take this and come back to the script, and over here I'm going to create a object which is called not now, and over here I will say driver dot find element, and inside that I'm going to say by xpath, and inside that this is what we have. Now on not now we're gonna click. All right, either you can say enter also, you can use this technique as well. Okay, so let's just execute this. Let's just see what happens. Okay, I'm just going to execute this. So when I did so, what it is happening. Look, it is processing, it is taking me inside Instagram, right? There is possibility to get one more pop-up where we would require to click not now again. Let's just see how, what is it that we exactly gonna get. Okay, so here we are under, now here we go, here is the pop-up again. So again we need to click on this not now, but don't worry, you don't need to do all these things once again. You simply select this shell and execute this. So when you do so, we are in, right? Now the next thing which we're gonna do is we're gonna click inside this and search our item. Alright, so let's try to access this particular search box. So when I come over here, so here is what I am getting. Let's just try to access it once again. Now when I do so, so here is the tag, right? So when you click this, this is selecting the search box. So it is under input tag and the attribute is area level search input. Okay, so I will just take this particular thing and I would just say input, and inside that I will put @ and just this thing. How does this works? This is something which I have covered in a separate video. I'll try to put a link for this particular video as well. Again, you can follow the web scraping playlist, you will get that. Okay, now here is our string which will help us to access the search box. So let's just create a search box object. Search box equals to driver dot find element, and inside that I'm going to say by XPath dot, inside that I'll put this thing, and then again in search box, what is it that we want to search? Send keys. Inside that I want to search for hashtag Learnerea. Alright, and then search box again, and here I will simply hit enter. Okay, send keys, and inside that I would again use keys, enter. All right, sorry, enter. This is the thing. So we might require to execute this cell multiple time, because in one go Instagram sometimes doesn't take it, right? So let's just try to execute this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll just hit alt enter. So let's just see what is happening here. It just wrote the Learnerea inside that, but it is still not searching that item. So what I will do is I will just come back to my script and I'll just take this particular patch out of it and I'll put that in a separate cell, and just I'll hit enter. So when I do so, let's just see if it finds that. Still it is taking time, so we can again execute this. I'm again saying enter. Let's see what happens. It searched some other item. Okay, so what I'll do is over here I'll try to clear that once again, search box, and here we have another clear object. So we will just do so, and I just hope that it would have the thing. See, Learnerea is inside that. Now the next thing which we're gonna do is again execute this. Why I had to do this? Because that particular box already had Learnerea written into that, so that's why I had to clear that first and then hit enter. Okay, it is yet to be executed. Alright, so let me just try to go back over here and hit enter once again. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, here we got that. Okay, now the next thing, here we are having all the images with hashtag Learnerea. Now let's just try to fetch one image, which is this, right? How can we do so? The same thing, we're gonna click take that arrow and hover on this. When we do so, what we see is it is just taking some time. Just let me just take this and come over here, and over here what we see is, let me just try to expand this. Okay, here we got that particular patch. This is something which will help us to fetch that particular image. So here we have the image tag, and inside that we can pick any attribute. So I'm going to pick class equals to this particular thing. Okay, so the tag name is img, and inside that this is what we have. So let's just try that, img, and inside that I'm going to say @ and this thing, and Yeah, it just selected that. Okay, it's pretty simple, right? It just looks scientific, but it's pretty simple. Okay, so next thing which we're gonna do is we're gonna say images and equals to driver dot find elements. Find, this time I'm going to use find elements, because you see here with this tag, with this particular string, we have 21 items available over here. Okay, so we need to get all of them. Okay, so find element over here, I would say by XPath, and here in the single quote I'm going to put this thing. Okay, so here is the images which I will get. Now after getting this, let's just try to check the length of images. What is it that, oops, length is not a function, right? So 21 elements we got. Here also we had 21 elements. Now let's just try to fetch the image out of it. Okay, so what we, for that, first of all we require to create either a list or a set in which we could store the URL for each of the images. Okay, actually what will happen is over here when you do the extraction, it will not directly give you the image, it will give you the URL, and then using the URL we can download them. But don't worry, you don't have to download them one by one. I'll tell you the logic. Okay, so here I am going to say my images, or let's say source images. Okay, my images. All right, and over here I would just create a set, because this will keep the unique item for image in images. All right, source, I'm just trying to fetch the source. I would say image dot get attribute. So here what is happening is, in this particular patch we have one attribute src, and in that we have the URL. So I'm just directly going to get that particular thing over here. Okay, so what I'll do is, in that, what is this attribute that we want to fetch, which is src, and then I just want to append that in my images set. And so here to append a set we use add function. Okay, you can say the add function. Okay, so now this is done. So this should ideally fetch all the item. Let's just try to check the length of images. Sorry, my images. My images. This is 21. These are 21. Now let me show you some sample. My images, sorry, images, and over here let me just show you some 3-4 item out of it. Set object is not sub. Okay, let me just try to print. Let me see if I can get it directly. Okay, you see we have all the URLs over here. So now what we need to do is we need to get the image for each of these URL. How can we do that? So for that what we're gonna do is we're gonna use one library which is called wget wget. Okay, so this is a module which will help us to download the images. Just in case if you don't have it, first you would require to install that. To install that you can simply say pip install wget, and then it will be installed, and then you can just import it like this. So what I'm going to do next is, for image in my images, and here I would say wget dot download, and inside that I'm going to say image, download this image, and the location which I want to give is dest location. Okay, now let's just hit enter, and you see the process is started. And when you go back to this particular folder which we initially had, let it just open over here. You see we started to get the images which we had with Learnerea hashtag. You see over here. So it is completed. So you see, this is how you can get all the images. Now there is one thing which I want you to note. This extracted just 21 images. Why? Because it is it is extracting only what it sees at one screen, right? So to see the more images on Instagram, what we do is we scroll down and then we see the other images, right? So here what you see is not all that system is also seeing, maybe system is seeing something more or less. Okay, so whatever you see, if you want to see more, you can just scroll down and see more. So the same thing we need to do if you want to scrap more. How can we do that? Let me show you that quickly. I have been showing that in all of my videos, but here again I will show you that. Okay, so for that what we will do is we have one thing which is one Java patch, which you can simply just copy from the script which I will be providing into here, and just put it like this. Okay, once you scroll down, then again you need to perform this particular task, right? You find these particular elements, right? Now once you are done with finding the element, what you need to do is, okay, once you scroll down, you need to wait for some time. So let's say sleep for 3 seconds, let's say for 3 seconds, and once you are done waiting, then you need to find this particular element. And after that what I'll do is I'll try to find the length of my images. I'll not keep it infinite, right? So I would just try to limit it to 10. Okay, so length of my, if length of, I would directly say if length of this particular set is greater than 10, then what is it that I want to do is I want to break the loop. Okay, now you must be wondering what is this loop. There is just one for loop, so don't worry, I'm going to write one more loop over here, which is while true. Okay, and then I will just hit one tab, and I need to take this out of the for loop. Okay, now you see this. Okay, sorry, this was not in for loop. Okay, now when I do this, this will scroll down and it will fetch more images. Okay, now let's just execute this. Now you don't need to execute entire thing once again. I can just start it from here only. Before that I will delete whatever we have over here. All right, everything is gone. Now let's go get back to the script. It is showing some issue, invalid syntax. Why is that invalid? Because here I had given a colon, right? I don't need to give that. So now I just hit enter, and this is processing. This is gonna take few moments, so till then I'll pause the video. All right, so it is done processing that. Now I need to download them all over here. So it is started. Let's just see. All right, let's get back to the folder. Here we got the images once again, right? So this is how, you see, this is how we can scrap all the images for a hashtag. If you want, you can go into a certain profile and then you can get the images from that. If you want me to create a video where I go in certain profile and fetch the images from there, I would highly encourage you to do that. But just in case if you want me to do that, let me know into the comment section. If I get 50 comments for that, I'll definitely make a video on that. Until then, happy learning. Wish you very all the best. invalid because here I had given a colon, right? I don't need to give that. So now I just hit enter and this is processing. This is gonna take few moments, so till then I'll pause the video. All right, so it is done processing that. Now I need to download them all over here. So it is started. Let's just see. All right, let's get back to the folder. Here we got the images once again, right? So this is how, you see, this is how we can scrap all the images for a hashtag. If you want, you can go into a certain profile and then you can get the images from that. If you want me to create a video where I go in certain profile and fetch the images from there, I would highly encourage you to do that. But just in case if you want me to do that, let me know into the comment section. If I get 50 comments for that, I'll definitely make a video on that. Until then, happy learning. Wish you very all the best.